Dawn Leonard. I've lived in the borough pretty much all my life, and I've been watching the council and things that's been going on, and I've decided that whenever they publish the budget in the newspaper, I decided to question some of the things that have to do with the budget cuts. Not a fan of them cutting out the playground, and so I'm going to read from notes that I made. I want to go through and read all of those before we have any comments or questions. At the end, after I'm finished reading, we will take comments and questions by raise a hand. That way everybody gets to talk and nobody is talked over. We'd like to keep it very comfortable and just we're all in the same community and we should work together. So, okay, I did my Dawn Leonard part. The reason for calling this meeting is to bring attention to some actions of the Borough Council that should be addressed by community members. I do have a lot of information to cover. I already did all that part. We do have borough request forms. If there are any questions that you have for older issues, you can fill those out and turn them into the borough. You can get one of those off the table up here. The council made a proposal for the 2025 budget, which included defunding the children's summer program. The estimated cost for 2 weeks in the summer is between $5,500 and $6,000. That includes the cost of equipment, portable toilets, and supplies. This program has been offered in this borough since my children were young. It was offered for most of the summer. As years went by, the cost increased and it has been reduced to 2 weeks. Now we have certain council members that want to take it out of the budget completely. This is where I'm asking the community members to come together and attend the December 4th council meeting so we can present to the borough, the council people, what we would like them to change on that budget. We have a lot of wasteful spending. Why are we, as taxpayers, paying for a part-time code enforcement officer? What is this position all about, and is it really needed to do code enforcement? This is a part-time position that has turned into thousands of dollars spent. A motion was made on August 7th meeting by Sharon, I think it's Field, to pay for Alec Brindle to holds the part-time code office position to attend an opioids and high-risk training and workshop. I question what is the code enforcement training and opioid training, what does that have to do one with the other? Then without prior council discussion and approval, he then moved his office out of the borough office and over to the police station. Somehow again, without prior discussions and approvals from the borough council, he started reporting to Tim Allison, the town mayor. Why are these changes being made? Now Mr. Brindle has spent roughly $3,000 in fees for the solicitor to create a position that gives Brindle a OIR, Origination Agency Identifier number. And that would give him access to the Commonwealth Law Enforcement Assistance Network and the National Crime Information Center databases. Please tell me why a code enforcement officer needs these clearances. I also found, and please remember, this is a part-time code enforcement position. The borough pays for a cell phone for him and just got a $2,000 radio, a $200 clothing allowance, a $1,500 bulletproof vest. Can somebody explain to me why a low-income community is footing the bill for all of this? But you want to take our children's summer programs from us. The burden of the police department, and I know there's a lot of people that doesn't agree with this, that I'm gonna say, but just hear me out. The burden of the police department on the budget. First thing, there was a fourth individual that was going to school. The borough accepted the burden of paying for him to go to school to become a borough police officer. They paid $14,000 for this position, and he did not finish or complete the school course. So I'd like to know, has the mayor taken any action to claim that $14,000 back from that individual since he did not complete the course? The budget for the police officers is for 5 officers, which is $440,000 a year. So far, in 10 months, we've paid $130,000 for regular pay and $33,000 in overtime pay. This is to 3 officers. We do not have 5 officers. We only have 3, which I know, as a lot of us know, we don't see the police very often or very frequently because they're limited. I mean, there's not enough people to cover 724. So we have periods of time that we have no coverage. And we rely on the Pennsylvania State Police to cover those times. Also, we have, if you call 911, you will probably get dispatched who will have to have you hold while they call Mount Union to see if there's an officer on duty before they make a decision, or the police answer and respond, or they have to call the state police and issue them to come out. That's time wasted that you could have an emergency that you need somebody. I know that it's kind of a sore subject, but I know that they want police presence in the community. But what kind of presence are you getting if nobody sees them? We can rely on the state police to cover our town 724. They have the units, they have the employees to do it. We're wasting $4,400 or $44,000 or $440,000 to pay for what? I mean, we're going without coverage. So I am just questioning that. One more thing, the grant freeze will prevent us from being able to apply for needed grants. Street repairs, parks, the only grants that they will be applying for is 100% covered grants, which is definitely a step in the wrong direction. We need to be able to apply for these grants. Without okay. I missed a little part here. I wanted to address the behavior also of the council. There has been an incident where one of our council members cussed out another council member, jumped up, slammed her stuff down, went out the door. She was asked to apologize and resign from her position. She said that she would apologize, and her apology was, I apologize for not being politically correct. That was her apology. She did not give an apology to the individual that she was intimidating. She just gave a general apology. I myself don't feel that's acceptable. I think she should give Cheryl her apology. She owes us, the taxpayers, and the community an apology for her behavior. I myself would think if you're going to be like that, we need positive people that can work together on that council. I would ask for her to step down. I mean, I don't know that she will do that. She said she would not. But, I mean, as a community, I don't know how others feel, but that's how I see it. I don't know what else to say. Is there any questions or comments that anybody would like to make before I turn it over to somebody else?
What is the point of lessening the amount of people on council? What is that going to bring about? If
Well-
there's not even enough people to actually make a consensus, so that would be less people to make an actual agreed decision for the borough, right?
Can you answer that question?
I didn't hear the question.
What's the point of eliminating 2 seats on the council? Because I seen that petition as
We
I
need to
came
get the
in.
council down to the size of the town. The town used to have populations like 4 or 5 times what it does today. We're representing the whole community of about 2,000 to 2,500 people with 9 council members. Any other community twice our size only has 5.
So would the wards be changed?
No, the wards wouldn't be changed. The wards would be
So there
the
wouldn't
same.
be total representation then?
Yes, there would be. There were two per ward
So
and
you're gonna-
one floater.
Okay,
And that would give you 7. And you wouldn't-
Okay.
We're not gonna go, it wouldn't go into council and say, okay, we're gonna eliminate your spot, leave. When your spot runs out, okay, then it's just not put back on the ballot. So nobody loses their seat, okay? The election goes the same, except we're only gonna elect 7 instead of 9. And it makes more sense. I think we could get more quality instead of quantity. We might be able to get individuals that maybe want to help run the town. It's a lot of work to be on council. And it's not a job where you just come once a month and say, yep, I vote for it or I don't. There's a tremendous amount of work. And this town needs an awful lot of work. It needs a lot of help. And we have a lot of big things that's getting ready to happen in this town, and the poor town isn't ready for it. If the East Broad Talk brings our tourism business back to town, which is going to happen, and we have a train coming in here once a day and dropping off 50, 75, 100 people, what are they going to do? They're going to walk up and down the train track, they're going to sit on the benches down there. We ought to have all these little shops opened up. We need a council that can get along with people and roll out the red carpet to help them open a business, okay? I know that this council does not help anyone open a business. Ask me how I know. I have a chicken place, go through that door and go down 5 steps, and we opened during COVID. And we went to the council and asked them to reverse the street or else take the one-way sign off and make it 2 ways. It's 2 ways on that side of the street. On this side, it's 1 way. There's more cars go the wrong way than there is the right way. I got that on camera. Okay, so I talked to the council members, some of them even signed my petition, but when it comes time to vote for it, all 9 of them voted against me. No, we're not changing nothing. And the reason for the change was we have a drive-through window that would make people who are picking up their food much easier if they could do it on the driver's side versus the passenger side. That was the only reason we had. But, we need a council to help develop this town, help develop the vacant buildings into a prosperous business. And then once we get the business open, the town has to go help the business. Okay, this town it goes against business, and I don't know why, but this town does not support business here. Okay, if it wouldn't be for all the people that I advertise out of town to bring in my business, I'd rather shut the doors. Now, I've been getting in the last year, and I've been here almost 4 years with that business, and I've been getting more town people one at a time, you know what I mean? but we need to go the other one. A new business opens up, we, the town, should support them to make sure they're gonna be successful.
Exactly.
It's only gonna make our town better and bring more people. And more
Yeah.
people means that we get paid, we get more tax dollars.
I hear that, it's always needed more quality people.
It is.
And it's always needed more quality programs for children.
Right.
I was in Huntington County leadership, and me and my group, we started it for 1 week because the council fought us the whole entire time to get the money that was sitting there in the bank, sitting there. And we busted our butt, and if it wasn't for the town helping us and donations privately, we would have never had that 1 week.
Right.
And it's sad, it sickens me because I have a 15-year-old and I would like to see her get proper, enjoyment out of her town. So, yeah, but I just hope that it does work. I know I'm gonna start coming back to the meetings.
Yeah.
'Cause
We
I'm
need
definitely
everybody
gonna
to
ask.
participate with the meeting.
Yes,
In a civil way,
yeah,
to reason things out. You don't go there because you hate your neighbor, you go there to work with your neighbor
and to
put
find
the
a
hate
solution.
aside to
Yeah.
correct the problems of the community and make it a better place for every one of us to live.
Right,
And that's what we need. And that's,
Big time.
as long as we approach it like that, I think it'll come out a lot better at the end. But I think we would make much better decisions if we had less council members to make them decisions.
I hope
Thank you
so.
for asking that question.
You're welcome.
Did we try that before? Reduce the council members? And it didn't go?
I've signed a couple of petitions and that was never followed through, with, never turned in.
It's been talked about only.
It was talked about, but petitions were signed, never went any further.
I just have, from going over what you said,
I can't hear you.
from going over what you said, all of those papers. I've been going to council meetings for a year now. I can answer every one of those questions. If everybody here, instead of showing up at meetings like this, would show up, they advertise it on Facebook once a month, the first Wednesday of every month, 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You would know exactly why. What the pay is, the budget, everything. And help in the community.
I do intend on beginning from now on to attend. I did get all my information from the newspaper. And I went back into the minutes and pulled my information from the minutes. Yes, you're right. I mean, completely right. People need to get more involved in the community. I was just one that just, I don't know, didn't bother, just for whatever reason. But my kids went to summer programs 30 years ago. This town had a lot of things going on for a while. Now it's just, seems like we're going backwards.
Yeah.
And we need to move forward. We really do.
Because I've lived here for 17 years, and not a lot of people know me because I basically kind of hid away, but I'm trying to get out and do more. And I have ideas that I was going to bring at the next meeting about.
It'd be great to hear new ideas. That would be great.
But I don't know, I guess it just begs me that everyone would rather sit and complain and bash the borough, but not show up to me. I mean, when the cemetery thing happened, everybody showed up, complained about it. As soon as they said, okay, we're going to the next meeting, the majority of people left. Because they don't invest, they don't volunteer, nobody comes to meetings. Oh my gosh, the borough is evil, look at all the stuff they're doing, we didn't know. But they talked about it in a meeting, all the code enforcement stuff, he's had code enforcement meetings separately from borough meetings. At least 3.
Yeah.
And nobody comes, and then everyone acts surprised.
I didn't know anything about this.
Well, they're posted on Facebook and it's probably in the paper. I don't know. I just started getting the paper to read more about this kind of stuff. But nothing's been done in secret. It's not.
No, I agree.
The
100%. I agree
borough,
with you 100%.
a lot of people complain to the borough people and then they discuss it in meetings. It's not like this big secret. They talk about, I wrote down notes. They discuss everything.
I will ask you, Katie, so you were aware that an officer was given a $2,000 radio?
I
You were
knew.
aware of that?
I
Because
understood
it was never brought for approval by the money. We make the decision, Borough Council, not one code enforcement.
But that's just one decision out of a billion things she got.
Realize that we need to work in a team effort something to do for this community instead of just have secrets here and secrets there and nothing gets done. Yes, we need a borough manager, and the fact that that's been knocked down 3, 4, 5 times, but you don't have no solutions. We need to do better. And to say that I've been going to court for the last 2 years because I asked a question. And the question was about the eligibility of a sheriff, excuse me, sheriff deputy being on borough council. And I was ostracized, it was overwhelming. For 2 years I went to court. And I'm putting this out here today to let you know that I didn't appreciate it, I don't appreciate it now. No one apologized to me. And I don't expect no apology. Because it's my turn to do what I need to do to remedy the situation, even if there is a remedy. But the fact that you all showed up here tonight, you need to show up more often, simply because it's your community. I applaud Dawn for taking the effort, and the fact that we're not doing nothing. I mean, there's nothing here for anybody. I grew up in this community, and I don't take that away. But at this point, we need to stop feuding, and it's okay to disagree. You know what somebody said when it was the sheriff deputy who threw the F-bomb. Everybody know what the F-bomb is? Everybody know what the F-bomb is? For no apparent reason, and if there is a reason, she needs to say so. She threw the F-bomb at one of the other council people and stormed out. That wasn't her first time. She did it to me too. I had to laugh at her because I thought it was totally ridiculous. But lo and behold, another council person tried to pivot the cause of her action to another council person by saying that Cheryl asked her many questions. This person don't ask no questions. All they do is just go along with the status quo, and we got to do better. Yes, we need some people on council who's about doing the right thing, who's about getting involved and working in a team. T-E-A-M, that's what we need. I rest my case.
Thank you so much.
I'm Nathan Warren. I'm not on borough council. I was born in that union. I was raised in that union. I lived in that union for a long time. I've been going to other township meetings. I went to the Shirley Township meeting. What is it? Thursday? Thursday evening. My name is in the paper for being there. I didn't go there to get my name in the paper. I sat there and I asked them for some feedback on their experiences about having state police coverage. And they already know that I was from the Magdalen Borough. You know what they told me? They said, what the heck are you guys doing in there in the Magdalen Borough? The stuff that we read in the front page of the newspaper? Got council members swearing at other council members? What are they doing in there? I said, I'm not a part of it. I'm not on borough council. I'm just trying to make a difference. And it was a productive, enjoyable conversation. They said, you guys need to get some borough council members that can have some civility towards each other. And why in the world, if I was a business owner, why in the world would I want to open a business in my union for crying out loud? I mean, come on. And we have an opportunity in this community. We have an opportunity, in my opinion, and it depends on who you ask, and I'm not a decision maker, but I do talk to some decision makers who are involved with the EBT, and whether or not it's coming to Robertsdale next or Magnolia next. Well, if you read the daily newspaper, and you read it daily, and you read what Robertsdale and Broad Top, those towns that are on the other end of where the railroad might come next, and then you read about what happens in Mount Union, who would you go to? Would you go to Mount Union next? Where they can't agree on anything because they have a council size that's been too freaking big for 50 years. 50 years they've been arguing. Robert and Betty Fleming were on join council. And they were arguing then, and they couldn't get anything done. The brickyard's closed, everybody left, and they kept on arguing, and they're still arguing. The names change, but the game stays the same. And I'm going to say again, we have an opportunity. When you go and you look at Saxton, you look at Robertsdale, you look at Broad Top, when you read in the newspaper, you know what? They talk about starting the project. 3 weeks later, they're moving. They keep moving. There's no arguing. They're not saying that to you. They're not giving somebody the middle finger or whatever else. They're not yelling at each other in a meeting. They start a project, they end it. It's done. They start the next one. They're making a heck of a case. And we need to get moving. We need to look at what is in the best interest of the common good. And I will say also, I'll second what Dwight said. That, you know, there are council members that I don't believe have the best interests of Maggie in heart. And then there are other council members that I do think have the best interests of Maggie in heart. Unfortunately, those council members are in the minority. It's kind of hard to win when you're fighting a losing battle. If you're thinking about it, or if you're going to go home and tell your whoever, your family member, your friend, your neighbor, whatever, to run for borough council, you do need to think about the fact that there is a lot of time involved. It's not just meetings, it's emails, it's phone calls, and then you got people complaining because somebody threw dog crap on their car or whatever. You got individual residents' concerns that you have to resolve, in addition to all the trainings, meetings, this, that. And oftentimes, by the time they vote, they already know what they're voting for. They pass that out. It's a lot like what happens in D.C. or in Harrisburg. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to comment or have a question? Yes, Nick?
Yes, I got, why do we have so many secretaries in that office?
I have no idea. I don't work for the borough.
I know you don't, but I'm just saying, seem like we have a secretary there for each department. Why can't we downsize the secretaries? You don't need 2 or 3 in there. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what that. I can't answer anything like that.
remember back we used to have block parties, we used to have all kinds of stuff. We don't do that no more. You know, that's where the state police, Huntington County is a big area. Stretches all the way out to the turnpike over there. I mean, they can't, hell, we got a problem here in Mount Union. Why not, can't get the sheriffs down here? I mean, maybe, or something. Because our cops don't come on duty till 6 o'clock. 5, whatever. They're on 2.
Yep.
And my other thing is, that code enforcer, you keep moving him around. He was there, and they had the old antenna place. He moved him out of there, and they keep moving him around. He's part of the borough, he should be in the borough building. We do need a code enforcer, actually, but,
Yeah, I don't know anything about any of that.
How many council people are here today?
2.
Why is that?
I appreciate you all coming. I really do.
Moving forward, what are you thinking? Moving forward, are you thinking to have it, I know that building's kind of still in the borough building. Are you gonna have more people invite?
They moved the council meetings to the fire department now,
Oh,
so that there is
more
more
seating.
seating, yes.
And Rick Rogers, I've been coming to these meetings ever since these issues have started. And And nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room. And that is our code enforcement officer. This stuff would not have started had you not a controversial individual
That's right.
there. He was a failed employee in the past.
That's right.
He had issue of suing the borough. I have yet to read one of his articles about any business in this town that is positive.
Wow.
He undermines a negative person about most of the things that happen here. And yet you make him your enforcer.
That's
And so
right.
why wouldn't he be a negative influence on the council? That's the elephant in the room. We would not have had these meetings had it not been for the controversial vest, the controversial badge, the
Absolutely.
controversial money, schools, all the things that are happening that are so negative but are not widely known, but subterfuge by most of the people that come to this meeting. Those people that are here at this meeting are well aware of what the issues are, but nobody's willing to talk about what the issues are, the hard issues. If you had this person in your employ, he would be gone.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
I did not know that.
There's also another issue in this community that nobody wants to talk about. $440,000. You can't get a grant because you don't have matching funds. You can't get anything done because 40% of your budget is going to a police department that's ineffective because you're only putting 1/3 of your time on the streets.
Yeah.
1/3 of our time to be handled by the state police. There's no other community in this area other than Huntington that has a police department. Alexandria got rid of their police department about 5-6 years ago, sold off all their cars. We got debt in the police department that we cannot control. Overtime cannot be controlled. If they got $240,000, that's just the tip of it. Because all they got to do is start arresting a whole bunch of people for a whole bunch of whatever.
Yeah.
They got overtime. And then they go on overtime. Anytime they want to control the budget of this community, arrest somebody. Go to court. And you'll have half of the budget right there. Half of the tax money. We raise $1 million and some odd dollars a year. And they take the rest of it, 60%. We've got to run our community. Why are we running a $400,000 budget on 3 people, 4 people? You cannot run a railroad without an engineer. We don't have a city manager. We don't have a mayor that runs anything.
Exactly.
We have a council that is in transit.
He'd have to answer that.
If we're going to do something in this community, first thing we got to do is get somebody to lead the borough, and that's a borough manager. Second thing we got to do is cut the police department, get $440,000 back in matching funds that we can do grants. We can do things in this community. We can do infrastructure. We can do the things that we need. We got water hydrants that have not been fixed for who knows how long. 5, 10 years, 50 years, whatever it is. It's too long. And it's not going to affect us until a big fire happens. We cannot afford a lawsuit in this town. You want to bankrupt this community? Sue them.
That's right.
Sue them. And I guarantee you, they'll settle. And then they'll go bankrupt.
They don't have a choice.
Exactly. Let's get rid of the police department, put $400,000 back in our budget, and let's start writing grants that we can match money with. Maybe we can do without a police department. State police are doing it now anyway.
We're doing without them anyhow.
That's the end of my conversation, because I got to think bad things to say.
We do need positive people on the council. We do need work unless we work together.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
My name's Tim Terry. I moved up here from West Virginia 10 years ago. I was a law enforcement officer, been out there, I make 575 an hour, I drove 53 miles to work every day, and back. 575. Big money in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
How much are these officers making a year?
Too much.
400 and some odd thousand, they should be making what? Over $133,000 apiece? I see more people pulled over by the state police than anybody. You have no law enforcement on duty during the day when businesses are open, so I'm sure these businesses feel safe around here. I don't know. Your kids go to school, they get bullied and everything else. Who's going to protect them?
Yeah.
Nobody, because the school board's not doing it.
Right.
My daughter
Well,
homeschools
they
because
drive
of
to
this
the
stuff.
mayor's house.
What's
They just
that?
go down to the mayor's house and sit there for 2 hours.
Yeah, they
that's
I've been in Mapleton and seen them at somebody's house in Mapleton. Well, if you
I live
call
right
the
up the
police
street from
report,
the
why don't
mayor's
they come to
office,
the
they
police
sit right
department?
down there. That's where they sit. They drive to the police department, and when they decide to leave the office, they drive right to the mayor's office and sit there, right in the mayor's house, and sit right in front of his house. That's where they sit.
What'd you say?
So,
Our politicians need security nowadays.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Why do we have a mayor?
I don't know why. I have no idea.
It sounds like the council runs everything. Why do we have a mayor?
The mayor runs the police department.
From what I understand, the mayor has no power. And the council
has
has.
two.
Fire and safety is his responsibilities.
What is it?
Fire and safety.
It's whose responsibility?
It's his responsibility.
Mayor.
For who? The mayor? That's all he has? Well, that's not a mayor. That should be another department. Right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, you have emergency assistants here, there, wherever else. You don't see the mayor out there. You might see a police chief or a fire chief or somebody talking, not the mayor. They're the ones giving him the information. So why do we have a mayor?
Why are we?
Besides, he married my wife and I, but other than that, why do we have a mayor? But somebody needs to audit that and see where that money is actually going.
You don't
They have
have a
a-
city
they have a
manager.
holding
You
cell
don't have a
up here.
manager.
What's that?
You do not have an administrator.
Exactly.
Well, then somebody needs to fix all that.
But we
We
can't.
need to fix it.
And if I could share for just a moment, I don't want to interrupt you, sir, so if you're not done, I'll let you finish, but I would like to share a few things, just
Okay.
based on what's been said.
All right.
Okay, I'm Cheryl, and I'm actually just the acting president of Borough Council right now because he stepped down. Your point is well taken, Rick. We definitely have promoted and attempted to get a borough manager approved. As someone stated earlier, when you're in the minority on the Borough Council, your hands are tied as to what you can do. It was discussed. We had DCED agreed to pay 75% of their first year's salary and benefits, the 50% of the second year's salary and benefits, and 25% of the third year's salary and benefits. And so that answers that question. It was not approved by Borough Council. I will tell you, there is no way a borough secretary can also be the borough manager. There is not enough time. And so to answer your question, I think it was you, Dave, who asked the question, what are all those secretaries doing in there? And I'll do my best to answer. I'm not a staff member, but I've been there many times. You know, the borough secretary is serving in 2 roles right now, which is what her predecessor did for many, many years. There is a person who takes care of the accounts payable and who does other general work for the borough in the secretarial aspect. There is someone who takes care of the accounts receivable for the water and for the sewer. So they're taking care of all the water and sewer stuff as well. And putting together, making sure that there are monthly reports of the finances. I have the financial reports from October. And then the other person is part-time, and she's the receptionist at the front desk. And she does she'll take payments from people and give you your receipts and so forth. But to answer your question in a little more detail, the budget for this year for the police department was $376,400. That's for 5 officers. it is to cover 5 officers, including all of their professional liability insurance, their training and workshops, their capital purchases, which includes police cars, as you know. It's to cover their insurances like life insurance, their health insurance, their wages. And when we talk about their wages, for the first 10 months of this year, we have paid out $132,000 and $33,000 in wages. The $132 is regular salary, and the $33,000 is overtime. And it's because we've had 3 officers this entire year. Since I moved back here more than 6 years ago, we've only ever had 3 officers. We keep having a budget for 5. We can't seem to get and keep more than 3 at a time. I don't have the answers of why that is for anybody. We sent a gentleman to school, and for reasons I'm not clear of, he failed out of school. I'm not really clear. He went to officer training. And the point was well taken from, I believe it was Dawn, that I'm not sure that anything has been done to recoup that money from him. There are holes that are not being filled, and if you don't have a manager who can dig into the reasons for these things, there are people that are trying to do it. There are borough council members who are trying to figure things out. But it doesn't mean that you can get to the bottom of everything, because we're volunteers. You know, we're not paid a salary. There are some borough council members who
The
take
state of
$75
Florida,
a
the individual pays their way through the academy. The town doesn't. They have to be certified before they get hired.
For reasons I can't answer, because I'm not the mayor and I'm not part of the police department. The agreement was,
Just questions.
the agreement was that this gentleman, and any other gentleman, we would pay the money up front.
Right.
And then they would have to stay on board with us for 3 years, and if they do not, or is it 2 years, I can't remember, for a certain big block of time. And if they did not, they would owe us that money back. And that money has not been paid back.
To ask you a question, the mayor's in there for what? Fire and what?
Fire station.
How much training does he have in that? Does he just go with the title?
No, I think he goes to the different training for fire and safety.
Is he certified in anything?
I think so. I don't know.
No, I'm just asking.
We're all not being,
Or does it just come with the title?
Yeah, the job comes with the title. You should get trained in it. It's just like every council member should go to council school by the City and Borough Association of Pennsylvania once they take the seat. You learn on the job, so I would assume.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
It's called boot camp.
I'm learning here, I'm
Yeah,
learning.
and the 3 of us who are in this room have gone to that training.
Yeah, I would say it's an elected position too, it's not a higher position.
I was asked to prepare for this meeting information on our use of the state police, not the borough police. I'm just speaking to state police. In '22, it was 450 calls for those 10 months. In 2023, it was 294 calls, and this year it's 340 calls. He also broke down the information by the criminal offenses, the number of criminal offenses that the state police have handled. The crashes they've handled, the criminal arrests they've handled, and the traffic citations they've handled. We get a monthly report from the mayor, just so you know, he does provide a monthly report of what the police department has done. And I have that information too, if anyone wants to see it, for this year.
Can you please
Well,
read?
if you call them right now, Cheryl, if you would call 911 right now, who would respond?
Well, we're in the evening time, so
Well, what?
I'm sorry, sir?
Well, what, I mean, who would respond
I
right
would
now?
assume
if you
this
called?
evening it would be the Mount Union Borough Police.
You would
because-
think they would.
Nope,
But
they're on
they
duty.
won't.
They're on duty. I've seen them.
Oh, you did?
They ain't gonna take the
They're on duty.
Well,
I believe they're on.
Be nice.
Hey, where's the money?
But they're
But
on
let
duty.
me, just somebody asked me,
How many calls did the Mount Union Police or answer in the last 10 months?
in this 10 months, because this is through October, year to date, it says they had 643 calls year to date, calls for service. And it breaks theirs down by traffic citations and so forth. And that does include code enforcement violations. So that 643 counts both police and code enforcement, so it's not exactly apples to apples.
Yeah, but if you look at doesn't match up through year to date.
Of course not. Let me say this, because I think it's important. I got here in Mount Union in 2014 or whatever. I got on the council 2017. When I got on the council, 6 people were gone. Of a 9-seat council, 6 left at the same time. You get 3 people who are incumbents, and you got 6 gone. And so basically you got a new council. So in my mind, there's a problem. So I took it upon myself to go to some of the meetings and some of the training, and I understood about Acts 25, Act 27, whatever. What it is, your state comes in and help your community get back on track. And I did that because I knew with a brand new borough council, we're going to need some help. Not only did we take upon DCED's opportunity and had an audit in over 2 years. Now, is this supposed to be a secret or what? It's a law that a municipality needs an audit at least once a year. So, I'm asking questions, not too many people in the borough asking questions, because I've been there, done that. And to say that from then, when I first got on borough council, to now, there's still a problem. This problem has been going on for quite a while. And right now, the borough is still under DCED's program, but it's about to end. And that opportunity to get a borough manager, which has been brought up at least 3-4 times since I've been on the borough council, it's always knocked down. You're knocking down an opportunity, but no one has a solution. Lo and behold, the last time we brought the borough management issue up, former borough council members said we don't need a borough manager. Yet still, I don't know how they came with that idea. If we don't need a borough manager, what do we need? Joe Barry. Anyway, there's a problem. The problem is not getting better. And if we don't do something, the state will come in here and probably do something else. And they might have to.
I will say, since it was brought up about, Patrick Reeder's my name, I will bring up that STMP program is a $400,000 program that Mount Union was awarded at a 90-10% match, which no one gets that. So it's 90%, you only got to pay 10% by the borough. And putting a block on this, I would say you should go for these grants, because Mount Union can get, I think, 19 different categories that you can apply for and get $400,000 with only spending $40,000.
You're talking about the DCED program?
DCD, the STMP program. So Mount Union does have that in their back pocket, and it is ending, so I would...
Yeah, it's getting ready to end.
Well, I will say that we have participated. Phase 1 was done well before I was involved in Borough Council, but Joan was on Borough Council. And that Phase 1 had the Pennsylvania Economy League come in and do an analysis. And unfortunately, it was occurring during COVID, so I don't think they got to speak face-to-face with as many individuals as they wanted to. But they did a full report for our borough. And if you read through the items in that report and their recommendations, one of them is to hire a borough manager. There are other ones that are financial in nature. There are many good recommendations in there. In addition, Phase 2 we are now in the process of, and we're almost done with, which is to create a comprehensive plan for our borough. People in this room, including Joan and myself and Sharon Vale, who sits on Borough Council, we are on the steering committee for that comprehensive plan. Steve has attended some of those meetings as a Borough Council member, and there are some other people in the room who aren't Borough Council members who have shown up and showed interest and given input to that. Unfortunately, the rest of Borough Council has had no interest. And so we're developing a plan, and it was a 90-10 split of what that cost. And now who's going to implement that plan? It's a question that Wayne has long been asking, who is going to implement that plan? And that's what needs to happen next. We don't want to waste the money that we spent in developing that comprehensive plan for our borough.
I just want to say again, I totally support what Cheryl just said. And what you need to do is if you care about Marion, if you want to see businesses grow, develop, you want to see the parks, you know, be someplace that your kids can go to, whatever. If you want to see Mount Union be a nice community, go to those council members that aren't here and say, hey, let's pass that comprehensive plan. Let's knock out the comprehensive plan. Boom, 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 boom. Those are the things, in that comprehensive plan are the items. It's the gateway, it's the track that we need to follow in order to get the EBT to come into Mount Union before Robertsdale, Broad Top, etc. If you want to see it happen, citizens in action. Go and talk to those council members. If they say, hey, we don't, if they tell you something other, if they tell you to go fly a kite, then we tell them to leave council. And I also want to say that Borough Council, their role is not to deal with, or not to oversee the day-to-day functioning of the borough. That's the job of a manager. Look at the East Broad Top Railroad Foundation, all right? They have major heavy players in industry, nonprofit. I mean, they are a group of individuals who know what the heck they're doing, all right? What did they do? The first thing they did when they formed their nonprofit 4 years ago, first thing they did was they hired Brad Esposito. Well, who's Brad Esposito? Brad Esposito is the general manager. What does he do? Well, he does the overseeing. He deals with the day-to-day functioning of that foundation. And he will be at, I'm told, at the December 6th Borough Council meeting.
December 4th.
December 4th. Come and listen to them. They have a tremendous interest in Mount Union and seeing it grow and develop. I'm telling you. I mean, I've never heard people talk about Mount Union like they talk about Mount Union. And I told them that.
I think to back up what Nathan said, maybe the workability of how the people of the town should communicate with the council is not going to the council meeting. We all need to participate in the council meeting, yes. I'm not saying don't go, but don't go there and try to make a big disturbance and everybody try to talk. You need to go to your council person of your ward, and that's who's representing you, everybody in here. So if that council member sitting back there, he represents this ward. Everybody in that ward needs to talk to him and say, this is what we want you to do, buddy, because we elected you, okay? Or Cheryl, we elected you. This is how we want you to vote. Whether you want to vote that way or not, you need to vote the way the people in the community want you to vote. That's the whole problem with the town. Everybody thinks, I'm going to go to the council meeting and I'll give them help. Then you got a big disturbance, just like I hollered about when we had the conversation going on. I'm not mad at either one of them, but we can't run a meeting with everybody talking at one time. So, maybe the people need to go talk to your council person. If you don't know them, pick up the phone and get to know them. Tell them what you think, the way you want them to vote.
And don't depend on what you read in the paper, because sometimes it's not true, and sometimes it's totally wrong.
I will say too, because we keep saying the duly elected thing, Mount Union has 7 seats that are coming up because a lot of the council members aren't elected, they're appointed because we have a lot of resignations. So this year, unheard of, we have 7 seats coming up for elections. So if anyone in this room, it's great to see all these people. There are actually 7 seats open, so if you want to run, just think about that.
Mayor too.
I don't know if the mayor's up this year, it might be.
I'd like to see this town start doing something from a positive vein. And that is, I'd like to see the Borough Council take the lead on something here. Anything in the community, take the lead. If it weren't for the nonprofits, 501c3s, the the streetscapes out here, this is all volunteers from good-hearted people that donate their time, money, energy to get things done. And things are getting done here. It's just that we need the leadership of the borough council saying, hey, I want to see this happen in the community. I'd like to put up $20,000 from the borough council and let's make this happen. I have yet to see that. Places die out. And it is. And this is what's happening. It's the graying of America. It's the graying of Mount Union. And if you don't get off of it and start taking a leading step, definitely, it isn't true. But we can't just rely on the fact that there's negatives in the community. We've got to start saying, what are some positive things that we can do as a citizenry? And it's not just going to a meeting, it's bringing something to the meeting.
Right.
And I'm talking about something positive.
Yes.
This is where our social giving comes into place. This is where our churching comes into place. We've got to start giving, and when we give, we get. That is if you believe in that tenfold thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we got to do. So if they're going to be negative, let's be positive. Who said that? Somebody, one of these presidential wives said, let's get up. Lord. Don't get low, get.
When they go low, we go high.
Yes, let's do something positive. If we leave this meeting with anything, let's leave it with a positive note.
So let's leave with a plan.
These people that are positive are doing what they can, but they weren't getting into the politics because they're tired of the politics that do nothing.
Exactly.
That do nothing. They have their little clique and they just go round and round in circles and nothing's been.
7 people can get and change this community.
Amen.
It doesn't take.
April, May, 7 people can make this a better place. You can be angry, this is your turn, this is your spot, and this is when you bring and make politics local. And if you want to change it, run. If you're not in the right precinct, move.
I agree with you, because there's going to be openings in every single ward.
Exactly, so you don't have to move.
And we need people who are interested, who are committed, who know that this is one of the best places you can live. I came back here after being gone for 30-some years because I love this place. This place raised me. Not all the time really well, but it raised me. And if you want to give to this community, run for elections coming year. It's the way you can make a big difference. Yes, it takes some time. It takes investment, but you can do it.
When I talk to people and suggest they run, that they aren't worried about the time, they aren't worried about the work they do, that say one person can't do anything against that clique.
Well,
I hear it over and over and over again. Good people, intelligent people that would love their community, but they don't want to get into all that. They just feel badly for the community.
And how do you beat that? I mean, I don't know how
Vote him
do
out.
you get around that?
I'll tell you how you do it. He just told you, you've got 7 seats coming up. Find your person to run.
Yes.
You've got a seat in every ward coming up for vote. Find someone to run.
10
3 of them
signatures, 10
were in Ward 2.
signatures.
Yeah, that's all we need.
3 of the people were in Ward 2. Well, not all of them are going to be there after this election.
Yeah, I do.
You've got to find a person to run it. Now's the time. If you're going to change, now's your time. Find your person
But
to get
don't
them on
they
the
still
ballot.
have a whole year before any, I mean, the positions are coming open and you get nominated to get, but the vote doesn't happen until November, correct?
Yeah, but you're
So
prepared.
there's still a whole year.
But there's a process you gotta go to get your name on that ballot. Doing a run-in, you can do a run-in. Cheryl did it. Steve was appointed.
So let me just say this. Smokey has a comment that's really important. Go ahead.
So maybe the issue is that people don't know who the council that is representing their ward. A lot of people don't even know what ward they're in.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
That's true.
information that needs to be out there because how do I know who's I don't know who's representing? I'm in the 2nd ward.
Well, I'm going to tell you exactly who's representing your ward. Alec Brindle Hill, Nicole Goodman, and Mike Shue. That's who represents.
And that's who's running our board
There you
too.
go.
The board that I'm in, it's me and it's Steve, and the open position, if you ever put your name in and you're really serious about this, and you live in the third ward cuts at Division Street. That's the east and west cut, well, the north and south. Anyway, so you're on one side of that, everyone out to and including Chestnut Terrace, the projects, is in the second ward. And everyone on the other side, the whole way to the Brickyard and beyond, you're in the, no,
Third.
you're in the second ward. The one over this way is the third ward, which is where I am. Anyone below Pennsylvania, I think it's the alley behind Shirley Street, Pennsylvania Avenue, you're the first ward. The entire north side of town is the first ward. Joe is one of your representatives. Marley Russell is another one, and who's the third one?
Sharon.
Sharon Vale, the woman whose name has been raised.
That's what I'm saying, so maybe that information needs to be out there so people know who is representing them in the room, because I had no idea who my company.
There's supposed to be a Facebook, Smokey, website.
There is a borough
There's
website.
a website, all the information is there. And I think people need to pay more attention, because the information is out there. Call the Borough Council, Borough Office, if you need to, but that's a good point.
Yeah, 'cause they can give you the list.
Who are you gonna talk to?
At the borough, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
At the borough building, there is a map of the 3 wards, and it shows you what streets encompass the 3rd ward, what streets are in the 2nd ward, what streets are in the 1st ward. I'll make you a copy, I was just there, and I made a copy the other day.
To answer your question though, you said who you want to talk to when you call the
Well,
office.
I mean, who actually answers your questions to, to anything, about anything?
Well, buddy, that when you call, you would ask to guys speak with the borough secretary.
Yeah.
So the borough secretary is gonna answer my question.
Yes.
So she's gonna say, so she can answer any question about any borough employee or anything.
So I'll explain this. So here's how the government works. There's a form, it's a Pennsylvania law. Buddy, here's a Pennsylvania law. It's called a right to know form. So every local government has this. So that in that form, you write your question down and you submit it to the borough, the county, whoever, and they have 10 days to respond. That's the law. So if they can't respond in 10 days, they'll give you an official reason. But so any question you have of a borough employee, how much they get paid, or any,
I don't care about the pay.
well, I mean, any question you have, any question, you go to there, you get a right to know from them, and you just hand that in, and they have to answer your question. They'll send an email or call you or do a letter, but that's the law. So knowing the law is you got to hand these right to knows in, and you got to ask any question you have. Just hand it in.
But simple
So-
things like,
so-
simple things like Smokey said, you can just call and ask to speak with the borough secretary. If you were to say, I live on, North Shaver Street.
Right.
Do you know which ward I'm in? If she doesn't know off the top of her head, she can look it up and tell you that's the 3rd ward. Or South Shaver Street is the 3rd ward. North Shaver Street is the 1st ward.
But I think the most important part of what Smokey said is people don't know, people live here don't know who their representation is.
Yeah.
You need to talk to the representing person from your ward. That's who's gonna go to council to do the voting. And everybody going to council making a big disturbance, that makes us look stupid.
Do you know how many people, I have a beauty shop, do you know how many people I have asked, just a simple question, who's the mayor of Mountain View? Do you know what their answer is? I have no idea.
Right? They don't care.
I can tell you who he is, he lives right down the street, you call for her.
That's the second.
I would say that's something from this meeting is, that kind of shows us as citizens of
Hold on,
the town.
everybody. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
I think that really shows us citizens of the town, we don't participate enough. That's kind of how we got here. And we need to step up and start participating, and we should be calling people, we should be finding this information out. If your borough can't even do it, you can call us at the county office, we can tell you who your elected officials are, it's on our county website. But us as a town, we need to start asking these questions and just participating. If nothing else, I'm telling you, if it's better than any crime show or drama you can, come to our meeting once a month. I'm telling you, we'll love it.
Go ahead, Mike. If you have something to
That I belong to?
Hold
else is going on. How did you find out about this meeting tonight? Somebody called you up and told you about it, right?
It's on Facebook.
I was driving by.
And newspaper, people don't really read that. We need to have some means by which you walk by every day up and down Jefferson or Division or.
That's fine. I can talk to him. I can talk to him if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
And I'll let John know what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work. That's a start.
Anyhow, hi, my name's Jenny Strahan. Some of you know me, some of you don't. Some even know my son. Anyhow, the reason I'm here tonight is the fact that even though my son is grown, I may have grandchildren one day. You know? And they're the future of this community. So anyhow, I'm concerned because when I saw the agenda, you know, I had some concerns, and I had read the comprehensive plan thoroughly, actually. But anyhow, you know, I came to this meeting because I'm like, well, if I want to know what's going on, I'll go to a meeting, right? So anyhow, you know, that's what I mean, I do agree. I didn't know when these meetings were. But you know, you told me how to find the information. Patrick told me how to, you know, get some questions answered. And I appreciate it because I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I do vote, but that's about as far as it went because I don't know what to do or where anything is. So yes, it's a problem, and I think we need to address that. Also, the thing with the whole school program thing, or summer program rather, you know, I mean, the way I look at that is, if they're doing something, they're not on the street getting in trouble. And one proposal I was going to say is maybe look into something more for the older kids, your teenagers and your adolescent age kids, that maybe they could get them, go somewhere and learn a little bit of job training or job shadowing, or like have them do volunteer work within the community or something. If they're busy, they're not out on that street getting in trouble. That's my concern.